welcome to Guitar Knobs, the guitars, gear, noise, and nonsense podcast, hosted today by these knobs.
Tony Dudzik, Pick Guardian.
Jared Brandon Bone Pickups.
Hey everybody, it's me, Todd Novak. Glad to have you along for this episode of the Guitar Knobs podcast.
That's right.
The podcast where we do what, Tony?
We talk a lot.
Yeah.
And then we talk a little more.
Uh-huh.
And we talk about things like boutique builders of amplifiers, guitars, pedals, pedal boards, cables,
Strings.
All guitar stuff.
all guitar related
Pickups.
Yes.
things. Pickups.
Pickups.
And pick guards.
I know.
Yeah.
And pick guards.
All the things. And that means that we probably have somebody on the line who can talk about one of those things. Introduce yourselves, persons on the lines.
Clint McDuffie here at Deep Space Devices, and
Taylor. I do all the drawings and stuff.
Cool. Excellent. Well done, people on the line. So that's Deep Space Devices. And where are you guys calling from?
Gadsden, Alabama, at my place.
Gadsden, Alabama. Is my place
Yeah.
like a bar? What is that?
It's actually just like
We're outed.
we're at my house right now. Honestly, I have this whole little workshop, and it's like a 2-story house and everything. And we just moved in recently, and I found I got the biggest room in the house, and I was like, okay, this is gonna be the coolest. Well, I don't even want to say man cave because that's the dumbest term ever.
It's a man cave.
But you already,
It's out now.
yeah.
Yeah, like my wife has everything decorated her way, and it's just
Oh yeah, she doesn't come up here at all.
Yeah,
and you
she's-
can tell this place is like it's messy, dude. You need to do some cleaning up here.
That's the way I like it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, anyways, so you guys make some guitar pedals, and we're going to talk about those at length in a little bit.
Yay.
We got to hang out with you guys at Summer NAMM in Nashville for a bit, and that was really fun. And so we'll catch up and learn all about from whence you came. For right now, we're going to get into a little bit of news things. News things. And really, it's lightweight news right now. Hasn't been newsy lately. We're cruising on the newses. I will say, I'm probably going to start putting out more of the older episodes, kind of re-upping them because we've gotten a lot of new listeners, and it's sometimes it can be tough to go backwards and
Have a greatest hits.
yeah. So I know things come up a lot in the internets, and I want to make sure that like if there's a conversation that's brewing about a certain builder or something that we've talked to extensively, like we're going to put it out there, and you can
I think that's a great
redo
idea.
it.
Yep.
That's a great idea. We could even call them.
The greatest hits.
No, I mean, we could actually talk to the person or persons who are doing something new and exciting and bring them on kind of a live thingy.
Maybe. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what's going on.
A live thingy.
And they could tell us firsthand
They could.
what the
That's
news is.
Could be.
See how we're thinking this through as we
we're
go.
just
This is
doing
just
it.
like, boom.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
It's also worth noting that we are on Spotify. If you are listening to us, then you are either on Spotify or you're on some other form of platform that is providing you these sultry sounds.
What other platforms are there?
Oh, there's Stitcher, there's
Stitcher.
iTunes, there's Google Play, there's all kinds of them. Anyway, so if you haven't listened to us on Spotify, why don't you just throw us into your playlist and your collections and all that business and
give us
drive our numbers up.
and give us a little love this podcast.
Yeah, we like that.
That helps out a lot.
For
That's
sure.
right.
All right. So we've got an awful lot to cover. We got a lot of cool things going on, and we want to get to that. So, Tony, how about you tell us what's going on in your music world?
I'd like to hear what's going on in Jared's world.
Jared, what's going on in your music world this week?
Well, this week, what I am doing is...
Wow, this is great.
It's
TV.
riveting. This is great riveting.
Do you not know what you're doing?
Podcasting.
No, I know exactly what I'm doing.
He's going. He's building
All
suspense.
right. This week in my guitar world, it has a lot to do with this Reverend that I talked about in the last episode. I dug into that this week, and I chose to go with the two humbuckers on the aged Perloid pick guard that goes on my Reverend, and just for a visual, it's got a what I call baby blue finish.
Mm-hmm.
And
what do they call it?
I don't know. And
got to be a name.
Yeah, there's a name for the finish, and forgive me, I don't know what they call it, but it's got a maple neck, and it's baked, so it's kind of a darker, not really yellowed, but more of a tannish brown. It just it looks great, just a perfect combination. And so I went with the Perloid double humbucker thing, and I usually like to split coil and do all that funny jazz, but this time I didn't do that. I actually, because I didn't really want to mess with that rail hammer either. So I just put the rail hammer the way it is in the bridge.
Yep.
And I put one of my own in the neck. And I did kind of like a gold hue small screen.
Yeah. It looks really nice.
It just looks really cool. It kind of has a vintage.
You got to take some more pictures of that and put it up.
Right. Some good ones.
Yeah.
It's got that nice vintage old look, but yet it's a newer style. But so yeah, I'm real happy with the way it sounds so far. It's real articulate. That's a good name for it. It's pretty bright, but yet it's not ear piercing bright.
Cool, man.
Yeah, that's so
excellent.
I'm calling that one done.
I believe they call it Chronic Blue.
Chronic Blue. I like
Chronic
it.
Blue. It's the
Excellent.
Chronic, man.
Tony, go for it, baby.
All right. So, yeah, I was just really anxious to hear what was going on in Jared's world. I don't know why.
Well, the pick guard was made by Pick Guardian.
Oh, excellent.
I know a guy there.
I know a guy too. I gotta.
So this is just something small, but it is interesting, and it kind of explains cost things. What the why things cost as much as they do. So I got home yesterday afternoon, and there's a UPS box. I knew it was coming, but it was a box of celluloid binding that I use on my bound guards, and then a half sheet of 0.070 solid tortoise that I use for like Les Paul Jr. guards and a couple of others, Gibson Ripper guards and things like that. And I mean, it was kind of shocking, and everybody that I showed it to, I said, "Here's $400 worth of celluloid."
Wow!
And it was just
celluloid's not funny, man. It's expensive.
It's expensive, and it's something you definitely don't want to screw up on. But it's not. Luckily, it's something that I buy. Like,
unfortunately, you don't screw up on it
most of the time.
Yeah,
I have my moments. But fortunately, I only have to buy binding about once a year, and sometimes I'll buy the actual sheet material a couple of times a year. But it's just shocking. I'm holding this box, and it's just like, wow, I guess I could have bought a guitar for this.
Yeah. Well, it's funny when you see somebody like dump out all the pedal parts. I think I'm trying to remember which pedal maker did this recently, but they basically had it all dumped out on the table and like, well, there's $1,500 worth of, or some astronomical number, and it didn't look like much. And you're just like, I think it was all germanium transistors or something, which was just super
that would make sense.
So, yeah,
that's why it would. But yeah, so that's whether it's pick guards or pickups or pedals or whatever, there's a cost involved, and I think if you want good stuff, and sometimes you have to pay just a little bit more.
You got to pay the price.
Yeah. Let's go to Clint. Let's go to Clint in Alabama. How are you guys doing?
Doing great. As far as, I guess, gear news for myself, when we got this landscape sound, it's like it's best just to kind of describe it. It's a touch synth, and man, it's just been crazy playing with that thing. I mean, we mainly got it just for upcoming pedal releases and just doing like demos with that thing. But I mean, to stick with guitars, so a buddy of mine got me, and I was just asking him, like, I mean, he's always getting all these Sun amps and Sun cabs. I'm just like, you getting all this stuff? Like, where do you find this? Because I'm always looking, like, there's always guitar center used or reverb, of course, reverb. and he told me Facebook Marketplace, and
Yep.
I had this Fender Modern Player telly, that it's like, I forgot what all the specs on it was, but anyways, like I got on Facebook Marketplace and I felt kind of bad, but I traded this guy a Fender American Strat to 1994, and this thing was like, my telly was like, Japan made or whatever. I just felt bad, like I'm getting like $1,000 guitar and he's getting like a $300 guitar. But I mean, it's a good deal to me. I just felt bad, but other than that, that's pretty much it.
Well, don't feel too bad. I mean, we've actually talked about a couple trades on here where I'm just like, hey, I don't get it, but that's what somebody wants, then that's what they want,
Yeah, that's perfect. I mean, that's kind of the way that it is. You have something that somebody else wants, and they have something that you want.
At a certain point, dollars don't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at least the other person's happy. I mean, I'm really happy, but
Yeah. So you're both happy. So that's a win-win-win. That I don't know who the third person is, but that's all right.
It's you, Todd.
Yeah. Let's see. How about let's go to Taylor.
Yeah, so I got the Board Brain Patulator, which is a super cool little device that you can plug in different. Help me here, Clint, because I haven't actually played with it yet. But you can plug it. You can like switch your pedals around without having to
go through the whole hassle of just changing out different patch chords.
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, dude, it is
So it's different than a switcher.
So it's like you can hook up all your overdrive to one little patch, and then like all your flanger to one patch, and all your like modulation, right?
Really?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, a lot of you'll see it with a lot of Eurorack users and stuff like that, or even synth players. But I mean, they've been incredible for just. I mean, I have one personally, and I have it right smack in the middle of my pedal board, and where all my loops and reverbs, delays, and modulation is. I have it right in the middle. Everything's connected to it, and you can just change it around with the chords up top, so you don't have to deal with changing around the patch.
That's pretty nice.
I may not even hook it up to anything. I just want it to look cool in the middle of my board.
It's a pretty cool artwork, honestly.
Yeah.
That was
pretty
killer.
sick.
All right, we'll have to check that out. The Board Brain Patulator.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
Todd, what's going on in your musical world this week?
I was talking recently about investigating volume pedals. And so I did some investigating. I did a lot of researching, which is also synonymous with investigating.
That's right.
And
I was investigating.
I surprised.
Use your Midwest prowess.
I will investigating. I was surprised by it, I guess the state of volume pedals, where it's like, okay, everybody was like, oh, you got to go with the Ernie Ball, and but everybody seems to just say, well, you get an Ernie Ball, but you definitely have to fix the broken string. And I was like, well, that doesn't sound like a very good deal. And then it was like, well, try this one. Well, that one's a tone suck. And it's like every single pedal had some pretty big problem with it. So I had mentioned before that I was investigating the Tapestry Audio Bloomery, which is a passive volume pedal. And I found one on Craigslist, which I was shocked at. And I got a killer deal on it from a local dude who also is into gear building. So I'm hoping to connect with him. We'll find out more about him.
Are you going to wear a high heel shoe when you use that?
Why would I need
It's
that?
tiny.
He'll probably wear pumps.
My foot can cover 2 of those pedals.
Yes, he did.
Dude, what's crazy about that? I have the same one. Well, I have the active one. It is so heavy.
It's really heavy.
I was shocked.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I just picked it up.
Yeah.
It's just like, holy.
But what's cool is it's all mechanical parts. It's not a bunch of stuff that's going to break in it. It's like that thing's indestructible.
Yeah.
So anyways, I was really excited to actually find one of those used because I had been looking on Reverb and they don't come up and they hold their value really, really well. And got a good deal on it and I was really pleased. So the only other thing on it's got a tuner out and I was like, oh, okay, I'll try my tuner out. And then I started again researching and I've never used volume pedals before. I've either just used the kill on my tuner or because I'm using a TC Polytune Mini, and it's like that. Well, that's instant volume kill. But I now am in need of one, and I said, well, I don't want to spend money on one that's I'm gonna have to fix. I just didn't want to do that. So I'm really happy. So
the tuner out
not
on
a
this
mini.
one, the tuner out on this one does when your volume's out. Is that when it shoots to that, or is it feed all the time?
I gotta learn about it a little bit more, but I don't know enough about the tuner out at this point. I need to spend a little bit more time. But the reaction of the world regarding tuner out was like, worst idea ever, don't do it. And I was like, well, we'll see about that. But
I can't tell you something about that pedal. Like it's great, and you would say it's indestructible. I mean, there's the Ernie Ball, juniors.
Yeah.
I mean, they're always breaking, but be sure, just be sure to tighten the bolts and everything every now and then.
Okay.
Because twice it's happened to me. I just thought, like, this thing, it's not ever going to give out on me. During a show, I've had like a bolt like fall out, and I've had to keep my foot on it.
Oh, you're
the
kidding.
whole entire show. But I mean, that's out of like 50 shows or something.
Yeah,
that's
I'm gonna get some Loctite. That's what I'm gonna do.
I mean, you'll be fine, but I mean, just tighten every now and then.
It's kind of nice because it's got a taper switch too, which I think most of them have, but it's an easily accessible taper. Yeah, pretty cool. And it's Jared was saying it's so small. It's really not that small. It's just not as
It's very
wide.
skinny.
It's skinnier than a normal.
It could double
volume
as
pedal.
a stapler.
This isn't. I'm blathering on. Blah.
1, 2, 3. 4 on the floor.
All right, Clint, give us your 4 on the floor.
All right, so the first one, so it's a reverb. It's the Old Blood Noise Dark Star.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
So now with the Dark Star, I mean, I've had many reverbs all throughout my pedal life, I guess. And, well, pedal ventures, I don't know. But, going from Boss, RV5, RV3s, all of those. But just the Dark Star, the crush effect, you get that kind of bitty reverb.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in love with that ever since I started playing that. But with the delay effect, well, the delay setting, really, it's not like, delay all throughout your reverb. It just kind of delays the reverb to go into your signal. With anytime I go to the studio or playing shows, that thing is on my board always. It will always be my number one.
We had the pleasure of playing that ourselves when we had Old Blood Noise on, and that was a really special pedal for sure. So that's a nice choice.
Yeah. Another thing about that though is, so I mean, both Taylor and I mean, we're pretty big into art. I mean, of course, he's huge into art, but my all-time favorite artist, his name is John Carling, designed the artwork on that pedal. But like John Carling doing the Dark Star, that's just incredible to me.
I think that they were actually selling their artwork. I know a lot of pedal builders have been doing that. Ground Control Audio does that, and I'm pretty sure Old Blood Noise was doing that for a time. And if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But I'm pretty sure I'm not. I'm pretty sure I'm not. Yeah.
Yeah, they actually do. Yeah, Old Blood does with their posters. I've actually gotten, I think the Flat Light poster, which I was in love with that.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah.
So what's number 2?
The Montreal Assembly Count to 5.
Oh, man.
That thing, like, so with the kind of stuff I do with music-wise, I do a lot of just loops, anything that's like sampling, anything like that, crazy delays. I mean, you can just do so much with this thing. The craziest setting to me is just, you record the 8-second loop and you have 3 different loops and you can change the pitches of each different loop. And I've never seen anything like that. I love the DL4, but it breaking was an issue. I mean, I'm not saying anything bad, but I mean, it's a great pedal. But then when I found the Count to 5, I was just like, okay, this makes up for everything that I love about the DL4. And
yeah, that Count to 5 is kind of an elusive pedal, and it's one that's easily overlooked. It's not of the collectibly flashy illustration ilk.
Oh yeah, reminds me of the way Fairfield Circuitry goes about things.
Yeah,
which
very much.
I love that aesthetic, the way that he goes about it. But number 3, it'd be the Carolina Guitar Company Kilobyte.
Okay.
So I'm the kind of player that just doesn't ever use tap tempo, and the Kilobyte just always made me never want to go towards tap tempo. I know that's a lot of people just from playing shows and stuff like that. Like, dude, why do you have something like that, like a delay with no tap tempo? It's like, dude, just play around with it. You're gonna love it. I mean, you can add like a little bit of drop to your delay, trails and everything, but the oscillating havoc switch, that's what sold me. And I write weird music, so yeah.
Carolina Guitar Co. He's made it on to quite a few of the 4 on the floors, and that's one of those dudes that I've had a lot of conversations with, and I guess he's just very busy, but he said he wants to come on. So if you're listening, we want you on the show, man. Yeah. And if anybody knows him directly that can give him an elbow, do so, please. What do you got for number 4?
So for number 4, I actually changed it like 30 minutes ago.
It's okay. No one will know.
Because John Snyder sent me a longsword.
He's literally been mentioned in the last 5 episodes. John Schneider, you're going to have to start paying me royalties. Sheesh.
Man, like, I remember listening to y'all's episode with him, and I was just like, this is the smartest man alive. But
he might be. Yeah.
He's a great dude, though. But so I've always struggled finding, I mean, I've had many drives, distortions all throughout the years, and I've always struggled finding something that's with the tonal controls and accessibility that you have with it. I mean, the longsword does it all, and I was just so excited playing it, and I really wasn't going to change this last one to longsword, but then it was just like, okay, this is one of the best drives I've played in a long time.
I'm glad you did.
Yeah, it's pretty unreal. I mean, I kept on seeing like they're so hard to come by, and I just finally messaged John and was like, "Hey, man, can you hook me up and help me out a little bit with that?" But
that's good. I think they actually just came out with I think he's doing a longsword mini actually, and by mini I don't mean mini like a little mini Moore pedal, but I mean just smaller case.
Yeah, I think he did have like a different he had like the lesser knobs version of the dagger or something.
Oh,
like
that, maybe that's it.
But he might be doing a longsword in just a smaller casing.
Yeah.
Already. So I mean, I
was a big fan of the Model FET. I really like that pedal. I really should have bought that or acquired it over arm wrestling or something.
I almost got one last week on Reverb, but of course, I mean, I didn't need to spend the money.
Yeah. Those are hard to come by too. Hey, people out there, if you see any of the electronic audio experiments pedals, you should grab them. Seriously. I guess if John Snyder gets mentioned one more time, then I guess we have to buy a turkey or something. I'm not really sure what.
It's a new drinking game.
It's a new drinking game. Yeah, that's right. Just don't do it while you're driving, everybody. All right. Thank you for your 4 on the floor, my man. Woo-hoo. Hey, everybody. We have a couple of pedals from Deep Space Devices in front of us right now. We've got the Golem and the Red Ghost. These are really cool looking pedals, number 1. So let's just acknowledge that. These are really cool looking pedals, kind of freaky in their own way. More importantly, these are pretty devastating sound machines. So those of you who are into finding something that is, I guess, out of the ordinary from a massive crushing kind of gnarliness sound, this is a podcast for you right now. So we're going to get into what these are all about, but I do want to find out, these aren't your run-of-the-mill pedals, but you did enter the space with essentially a distortion pedal and I guess, for lack of better terms, a parametric EQ. Is that fair to say?
In a sense. Oh, are you talking about the Golem?
Yeah.
In a sense, we've had some people consider it a doom drive. I really want to kind of, steer away from that. Like, the way that you said it was perfect, though.
Oh, excellent.
I was thinking like, first
Circle R
drive or whatever, but that was perfect the way you just said it.
It's an interesting pedal to play with. Some pedals you can plug and you're like, yep, okay, now I know what this sounds like. And this one I had to sit down with for a little bit.
Yeah.
It requires not normal music, if that makes sense. So you're not going to sit down and do your cowboy chords on this.
Yes.
Right. But if you are looking especially for textural sound, or you are, if you got a 2-guitar band, this could add like a tremendous amount of weight. Actually, both of these could. These are just the pedals we have in front of us. You have another pedal, correct?
Well, it's the third pedal that we're releasing in September.
Okay, we'll get to that one in a couple of minutes. Don't uncover it yet.
Yeah, we can talk about it though.
Yeah. The Red Ghost was the first one out for you, right?
Yes.
Okay. If you guys are listening and you're not familiar with Deep Space Devices, go get familiar. Check them out on Instagram, and I think there's some YouTube stuff out there for sure. You don't have a massive line of pedals, and that's okay. You guys are you're starting out relatively young in the game.
Yeah, around honestly 6 months.
Yeah,
we're shocked that we're here.
That's cool. So, when we're trying to find people to have on the show, this is a little bit of a tangent real quick here. It isn't all about who's got the most line and who's been around the longest and who's got the most popular thing. We really try to find people that are, just doing something unique, doing something a little bit different, exercising their own creativity, their own voice. Not everything is for everybody. And sometimes things that are for everybody can, everybody already knows about it. So we like to try to shed light on lesser known things if possible. Certainly give anybody who's trying real hard a leg up in the game. That's the way this whole thing started out for the Guitar Knobs. So that's why we started talking to you. I started to see a lot of action around Deep Space Devices, and reached out. And, when I met up with you guys at NAMM, you had a nice little pedal area going. It fit in really well with everybody. The way that we're currently describing these pedals, they're not total freak shows, so don't be too scared. But they're very well designed and very well thought out pedals. So I think that we've often asked younger people in the pedal game, if you will, like, it's a pretty big ocean of pedals. How do you go about saying, let's give this a go and keep going?
Ooh, you ready for a long story?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what we're here for.
Oh, no.
I think the best way to start it out, I guess, so I've always had a love for pedals. I mean, Taylor, but I mean, it started years ago with me just going down the whole pedal route, just collecting pedals, trading everything. But at the time,
He's also the guy that you go to get your pedals fixed, too.
Mm-hmm.
oh God, in our little area sometimes, yeah. Years ago, when I got started with everything, I went down a strange route with pedals. So during all that time, playing music, collecting pedals, I used to work for North Face, like the North Face.
Right.
And I know that's so random, but I would, stationed in Birmingham, I would travel around, helping other stores. I was a sales manager and just traveled around getting stores up to date, just helping out and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, it was awesome because anytime I traveled, I mean, I would, I'd go over to Eastside Music Supply if I'm in Nashville. And
Great little shop.
Gosh, it's my favorite shop in the world. I mean, it's awesome. Great people over there too. And, Atlanta, New York, all that stuff. But I had a lot of downtime throughout all that too while I was traveling. And I don't know why I went about it like this first, but I studied just building pedals, the capacitors, resistors, diodes, everything, how everything works before I finally had a lot more downtime getting the breadboard out and testing out this and that. But I mean, I wish I had the breadboard first and blew up a few pedals instead of
that was me. I blew up a lot of pedals, so I thought, maybe I'm better on the computer doing art.
And I wish I started with on the breadboard first instead of studying. But then, I mean, of course, I got the understanding. I mean, I don't know everything, of course, but I don't think anybody knows everything besides John Snyder. And
and Tony's waving his hands. I know everything too.
But I mean, when I got to that breadboard, though, understanding, controlling the effect that I'm going about. I've always loved the experimental side of things. talking about, let's say, Dwarfcraft device. Was that the pedal that you blew up, the Great Destroyer?
Oh yeah, I got like he was selling all the parts for the pedal, and I didn't really read the directions.
Of course.
Well, yeah, that's simple.
So I ended up just buying one because I'm incompetent.
You could have just called me.
Well, dude, I don't know, man. We weren't hanging out at that time.
Okay, we never hated each other, but anyways, that's. But throughout the experimenting and everything, that's when I started just building pedals, and this is when I got to stop traveling with North Face and just started only working in Birmingham. I lived in Birmingham, Alabama at the time. You know how you get like that addiction, the good kind of addiction that's like, golly, I'm sorry.
The good one.
With pedals.
Yes.
Building,
Yes.
whatever.
Yeah, let's clarify that.
Back on track now.
God, I just like slapped my face. Just thinking, what did I just say?
Yeah.
But all I would want to do is just build. And so, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I know it's going to be tough at the beginning, but so with any business that you start up, just expect it to always be difficult. Just go all in. You're starting a business for a reason. You're doing what you love. And of course it's going to be tough at the beginning, but there's always light at the end of the tunnel.
It has been fun though. This community is pretty fantastic.
Community and around here in Alabama. I know Alabama, you think honky tonk, dadgum NASCAR. Okay. No, it's not like that at all. Like, we have a few different music scenes all around, and it's unbelievable. But we were pretty involved with the music scene around here, and people really supporting us every step of the way, and they've really helped us to get where we're at now. Both Taylor and I starting this up. Mm-hmm. And I just completely left it out where we met. We've always known each other, but where we started.
Oh, under the moonlight?
Yeah. Kind of. Taylor, with these pedals starting up, we thought, I know the Red Ghost and Golem, you think like distortion and overdrive, doom drive, whatever you want to call it. They do have their quirks. Artwork's a pretty big deal to me. Of course, you got to have the pedals sound great, but Taylor, with his love of pedals too, and artwork, I thought, this would be awesome. And we got to talking. That's where Deep Space started kind of coming out, and we started just going all in. And I've been just kind of pushing ever since. And then going to Stopbox exhibit in New York, that was really cool.
That was a blast.
Yeah, and I'm sure this is like an issue, like going to NAMM, you just want to hang out the whole entire time. Mm-hmm. And you just get talking and talking and talking. Like, I remember talking to you at NAMM, and I was like, oh my gosh, I probably scared him off how much I talked to him.
I will say, I'll say that the NAMM in Nashville seems more personable than the one in California.
Well, it takes days to go through the one in California.
Yeah,
days. Yeah.
I guess we're going to run through it. I don't know. But,
get a cart, a little golf cart or something.
Going to the Stopbox exhibit in Brooklyn, that was, a blast of meeting everyone and just hanging out. And when we got back, we got that an email saying that we won Best Emerging Manufacturer. And I remember I was in the car.
Right on, man.
That's cool.
Awesome.
Like, I was asleep, and I had my wife slap me, trying to wake me up, because I thought I was in a dream, because I just had no idea. And it was pretty insane. Taylor didn't believe me for a week, but
no,
even though it was right there
not.
in front of us.
He lies all the time.
I don't lie.
Yeah, you do. You're doing it right now. I'm just kidding.
Okay,
I'm just kidding. We actually we did get it, and that's super cool.
And really, I think with how going about 6 to 7 months, it was just all about kind of community wise, just helping us out. Because with any business, you're gonna need help.
So besides your inspiration from John Schneider, what? Everybody drink. Who else out there along the way, or maybe early on, was there anybody else that you took inspiration from, or were emulating in some way, or looking
Billy
to for
Corgan,
guidance?
dude.
Did you just say Billy Corgan?
Yeah.
When everything was starting to get, with the license and everything, I was kind of, I guess ignorant is the word. Say, like, parts and everything. Of course, I mean, you know where to get parts like Mammoth and stuff like that, or Tata. But cost wise, I got to emailing and talking with Drew Swindler from Swindler in Birmingham.
Also been on the show. Hello, Drew Swindler.
Hey, Drew.
Drink.
I can't tell you how much that dude has really helped us, and little does he know. But I mean, we met for the first time the other day at Manchester Orchestra show.
Oh, nice.
And that was awesome. We were at the sound booth just talking for the longest time, and it was like after the show, and I felt kind of bad because like I was everyone's ride, and they had to wait like an hour and a half. But I mean, it was great finally meeting him and everything, because I mean, he really did help out a good bit.
He makes some great pedals too.
The chorus, the Golf, one of the best choruses I've ever played on. I mean, it's unbelievable.
I love the double stacked reverb too. That's a really great one.
What I loved about what he would do, he's based, I think he was born and raised in Birmingham, Alabama, and he would name his pedals after Iron City, it was Iron Drive, but there's a venue known as Iron City. And we used to have a steel works in Birmingham, and everything is like known after like some about steel, like Vulcan, steel works kind of stuff. But then there's like Magic, it's always been known as Magic City. So he made the Delay Magic City. Then there's Red Mountain, which is not amusement park, but state park in Birmingham.
Right.
Just named everything after something in Alabama, which is really cool.
And didn't he have like one called Mine Shaft?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyways, that's a totally different episode that everybody can go listen to, and I encourage you to do that. You can find that on our website, theguitarknobs.com.
Greatest hits.
Back to you guys in Deep Space. So you had some inspiration, you got moving, you just doubled down, you did it, and you dropped the Red Ghost, followed quickly by the Golem. Those are radically different pedals, but obviously of the same ilk once you play them both. Talk to us about how you created, your sound design for these.
So with the Red Ghost, I mean, I think we all know here there's a lot of distortions, a lot of drives out there.
Yes.
And with the Red Ghost, I wanted to really make something kind of with a big sound with, subtle changes with the, the toggle switches, the different clippings, and the slight bass boost. You get the dying battery effect when you start messing with, your pickup control and volume and tone control, depending on your pickup configuration on your guitar. And I mean, I really haven't seen anything like that out there. And I wanted to go ahead and have the distortion available because with Deep Space, we wanted to go ahead and have the Red Ghost distortion and the Golem Overdrive available, because with Deep Space, our main focus is modulation, reverb, delay, a lot of different stuff. And we're pretty excited about that, going down that road. But as far as the Golem, I mean,
just really quick on that Red Ghost, you said with a slight bass boost. Slight is maybe an understatement. A little bit. If you're looking for a sound that literally is going to push air, this is a pedal that can help your amp push air. Yeah. I think, at least that's the experience that I had, which is cool. I think that you did create a unique drive in the sense that it's not a tone shaping drive as much as it is a dynamic shaping drive. We know you're talking about the dying bat effect. You've got two toggle switches on here. One is shake and one is mass. And then you have your main knob, which is called Horde. So can you just explain those really quick?
So with the shake toggle, that's actually going to be, it's just, the diode clipping switcher, but the main diodes I'm using for it that kind of supports on getting the dying battery effect when messing with your volume and tone knobs on your guitar. Sorry, I'm speaking long sentences. I got to breathe.
You like Jared.
But the diodes I'm using are just LEDs in it. And I mean, that's just from experimenting and everything. But with the mass, I say slight bass boost, but I'm so used to saying that compared to like the Golem, the mass switch on the Golem is a pretty significant difference. With the Red Ghost, it's crazy what we've been seeing at certain players using it. We've been seeing a lot of noise artists use it and synth artists, and it's really flattering.
The
honestly,
synth
'cause
crossover into the guitar pedals has really exploded.
yes,
Which is really fun to see. I'm not partaking personally, but I like watching that stuff.
Didn't we have like a country musician hit us up about one of these pedals?
yes. Like country stars are playing them too.
Wow. I want to see Brad Paisley play the Golem.
Yeah, dang it.
So I think he actually sent it back. Did he send it back? He was like, "This is not what I was expecting."
We can't say names.
Yes.
With the Golem, it does sit in the muff realm. I can say that. Like I said, we really wanted to focus more on the modulation, delay, and reverb and all that sort of stuff. But it's not that we were pushing the Golem aside. We were wanting to make it a little bit different, and keep that still in the whole experimental kind of phase. With the tremble and quake, the diode switchers, the middle being no diodes, which of course you're going to get that big boost. But then to the left, silicone, to the right, germanium. But then you just mix and match between those two. And it's pretty understandable. I mean, the mass switch doing kind of the same what the Red Ghost mass switch does, but a lot more significant difference. But the Evolve is kind of where we really put most of what the Golem is into.
This is just as you're describing this. I just want to paint people a picture. So this is what size box is this? This is a bigger box, but not the ginormous box.
Yes, it's I think the 5090 BBM.
Yeah, so it's like about like a big muff size box, almost something like that, right?
Yeah,
you could say that. We could. I mean, the most noticeable thing on here is that you've got 4 very tiny toggle switches, which I like, all grouped together on this very imposing looking gentleman's face.
That's my interpretation of Clint.
Oh man,
of Clint
when it first came out.
I wonder what he looked like.
Yeah, it's a striking pedal. When you're looking at this, you're like, yeah, I'm pretty sure this is going to be kind of crazy sounding, and you're going to be right in assuming that.
He's a crazy looking dude, let me tell you.
I mean, you can really see the whole muff resemblance when you have the Evolve switch to the right, but when you have it to the left, you want to get that gated kind of drop. But when you have it to the right, you can really tell that it's that muff resemblance.
Yeah.
The left, when you have the mass switch off, to the right, you're going to have that dying battery kind of still there. I mean, I can't tell you how much I love that dying battery effect.
I can tell. Well, yeah, I mean, this does require a bit of a sit down with the owner's manual, just simply because there are so many combinations that you can come up with. I'm not saying that it's overly complicated. I'm just simply stating, like, with every switch you toggle, it changes everything. So imagine there's 4 toggles and 4 knobs. You can create a huge amount of soundscaping here. Like I said, do not plug this in and turn it on with your volume way up.
Yes.
Because like legit, this thing pushes copious amounts of air.
No kidding. We were thinking about putting a warning on the manual.
That might not be a bad idea. Because if you did plug it in and jam it, and you're kind of talking about like a Back to the Future kind of thing where you could endanger your amp or your speaker anyways.
Wait.
Yes.
So
especially with bass players too, because
dude, we need to message all those people.
oh yeah, this seems like this would be amazing for bass.
When it comes to bass, my favorite thing I love seeing people play on is the Red Ghost, because it sounds great on bass.
I think both of them are like pretty much aimed at bass players too. I mean, you don't really have that in mind, but we've done like demos of both guitar and bass.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
and
it's like we don't ever try to say bass pedal, guitar pedal. We just say effects pedal.
No, that's smart, because you really can. I think you really can use these both as crossovers. I think they would both, for the right kind of music, it could do some pretty magical stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So, tell us a little bit about what you got cooking now. Where are you going from? So you've got your dirt pedal, and you've got your I mean, what's loosely called, you're calling it an overdrive, but it kind of needs its own classification. I think it's more of a, I didn't create it, so who gives a crap what I say, but it feels more like almost like a parametric EQ with drive.
Yes. I like that. I'm writing that down.
Yeah, write that down.
Yeah,
that's good.
parametric
That's a good idea.
Because I started getting used to calling it Doom Drive. When you have that form.
I think that sells it short if you're starting out calling it a drive. That, again, this is just my take on it. Like, maybe not a parametric EQ, but
a paradrive.
Like a parametric preamp or something almost.
good.
I mean, it just has a lot.
Trademark Tony Dudzik.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. Well, whatever you want to call it, it's a pretty interesting pedal. But so you got the Red Ghost, you got the Golem. Where do you go from here?
Experimental is kind of the main focus with everything. Our next pedal is an octave glitch arpeggiating drive. And with it, it's called Trigonaut.
Trigonaut?
Yes.
Oh,
It
sweet.
kind of sounds like a Pokemon.
Oh, don't say that.
I mean, it sounds exactly like something that a Pokemon would be named.
Trigonaut?
Yeah. Use
Gargoyle.
fire breath. Trigonaut, use tail whip.
Okay, stop. Stop. Oh my God.
I'm leaving all that in
stutter
there.
glitch, please.
Oh boy. Okay, so let's see if we can get a brief understanding of what this pedal might lend itself to.
So, I mean, for the experimental style players, it's going to be great, but you will have the ability to have a perfect, what's the best word for it? You can get the drive and fuzz just the way that you want. You want the tonal capabilities with it, but you're not going to be just drowned, hoarded with toggle switches and knobs. It's going to be straightforward, but the stuttering glitch is where it's at for experimental players. But you don't have to have that, because with the 3-foot switches, you can just turn whatever on and off. But I mean, that's all I can really say about it, because
it's still super secret-ish. That's exciting. So you got something new that's coming out that you're evolving from these current pedals. You're definitely catering towards highly experimental players, which there are a lot of and a growing number. I think there's a ton of interest in really pushing the boundaries with equipment. Sounds really interesting. The Trigonaut. And for all of you people with 3 feet out there, this is going to be awesome.
I choose you.
I'm really happy that you guys are growing and that you're moving forward. You found some success, and I hope that keeps going for you.
Yeah, of course. Thanks, man. I was just thinking, I was about to say, I remember telling you at NAMM, be ready for us to ramble. And I was just thinking about that.
Well, that's why we have this. That's why we have the podcast to begin with.
Yeah, you're fine.
I feel like I'm more quippy. I just throw in quips that you'll probably edit out.
That should be a pedal.
The quip.
The quip with just a bunch of toggle switches that turns all of it off.
And one that does a stutter.
Anyways, Jared.
Everybody, it's time for Would You Rather? This week's Would You Rather. So you have a nice amp that you want to take out to gig with, and you have a decision to make. Hence the Would You Rather. Would you rather use the DI, which is the direct out from the back of the amp, and run it straight through the board?
If you have one of those kind of amps.
Well, in this case, you do.
Okay.
It's a given that you have
given that
one.
you have one. Okay.
Or you could use a red box.
Are you going to do the old, 57 SM57 mic and put it in front of the speaper? That's
all
correct.
right. Okay. So this is a pretty simple one. Not a lot of fanfare.
Don't crap on my would you.
I'm not crapping on it. I'm just saying you didn't have a raging story to go with
what's the story behind it? We need a little we need some background.
Well, so you get this new amp from Reverb and you're walking down the street.
Tony, what are you doing?
I'm laughing right now.
Yeah.
All right.
That makes one of us.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Be nice.
I am.
Good.
Go ahead.
I don't like it.
No, for real. Go ahead.
I don't like it when you guys fight.
I do.
I think I've always had much more success in a live situation with a mic as opposed to the DI or direct out.
Yep.
It always sounds better, I think. I mean, it's possible you could do both, I guess, but you know, if you have like a really sweet speaker that takes a mic very well, I think that's the way I would go.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm going to jump over to Clint.
Mic all the way. I would say. I mean, with the wait, does amp matter?
No.
Nope. This amp doesn't matter because
It just has to have
an unknown amp that sounds awesome that also has a DI.
That's right.
Okay. I was thinking about like my current setup. Definitely mic, I would say, because if anybody else has control with that DI, I mean, they want to turn me down. Nah, I want to have the control.
Right.
You know? Yeah.
Excellent. Let's go to Taylor.
SM57 all the way.
All right.
Absolutely.
So we got we're gonna make it unanimous here. Well, almost unanimous. Jared.
I'm gonna go with the direct out. And just for Todd, this is gonna be a Fender Paul Revere amp, where it's got
Paul
that,
Revere and the Raiders.
No, it's the one that he used. Isn't the one that he used has all those outputs and inputs and all that in the back.
You talking about Paul Rivera?
Yeah, Paul Rivera.
Okay, that's what
Thank
I
you.
thought. I thought.
Yeah, I'm just grasping at straws. I'm not. I forgot. I forgot. How to the guy's name, or I don't even know what.
No,
the
you're
guy
fine.
is.
Well, I thought you were talking about Paul Revere and
You
the
know
Raiders.
what amp I'm talking about? I had one, but I forgot what Fender called it.
Anyway,
It was like 20 years ago. That's how long it's been.
Clinton Taylor, do you know which amp he had?
yeah, it was like 20 years ago. You remember that one?
No, the one that it's
Son.
no, it's a Fender.
Well, there was a series of Fenders that Paul Rivera, he worked for Fender and designed and built them, or had them built at the factory.
No, this particular one has a lot of inputs.
The red knob.
No, this one has direct
That was-
out
that
the
was the
back
era.
and
Yeah. So we're just going to guess that we don't know what that is.
I'm going to go with the direct, and my reasoning is because especially if you're playing at a small bar and you did the direct out, you have a lot less stage volume for the sound guy in the back to deal with, to compete with.
Interesting.
It's easier mix, kind of like the concert we went to recently. They don't have any stage volume whatsoever.
That's bollocks for that, man.
So
I got no love for that.
I know what you mean.
But
me
it
either.
depends on how big this. Like if you're in an arena, okay, that's probably different.
Yeah. But a
if
bar,
you're not,
if you're in a smaller
just
venue,
one of us, not playing arenas.
You're in a small venue.
Model the Sun Model T. We can just say that.
Okay,
Oh, well,
it's a Sun Model T.
I'm still going. I'm going 57.
Yeah.
All right, Jared, you're the odd man out.
I'm doing it.
All right. People out there in the guitar sphere still listening, which I hope you are. I just want to give just a real quick shout to those who are thinking about building pedals, those who are emerging, who are trying to make their way, whether it's pedals, whether it's pickups, whether it's making guitars, whether it's whatever it's doing, whatever you're doing, keep doing it and get yourself as much visibility as possible and lean on other people, lean on friends, and go to the people that you admire what they're doing and that are inspiring you. It is a great community that is so willing to help, and we're always excited when there's something new. So you can't lose. Get your voice out there, get your creativity out there, and make some stuff. Dudes, where can they find you?
As always, Instagram. Instagram is something that we really put a lot of time into, and Facebook. Twitter's tough, man. But at Deep Space Devices, and there's deepspacedevices.com. You can always just shoot us an email. Anything, if you ever have any questions, subscribe to email lists. There's always stuff like that.
Great. And Tony?
Yes, I
Where
am.
can people find you?
Well, let's just say you're looking to make a special pick guard.
Mm-hmm.
Changing pickups.
Mm-hmm. Switching up pickups.
Switching up pickups. Putting electronic devices into your guitars that you need some special holes drilled into.
That's
whatever.
right.
I'll actually be hitting you up soon.
Oh, cool. Please
My
do.
man.
He's done all mine.
Go to pickguardian.com or, if you want to check out some of the projects that I've been doing lately, I've been a lot more active on Instagram over Facebook, but either one of those is Pick Guardian and the number 1.
And if for whatever reason you can't remember that, or you just, he's a guy on the show, you can hit me up at Todd at theguitarknobs.com. Jared.
The amp I was trying to say during the Would You Rather is the concert amp.
Oh, that one.
The Fender concert amp has a line on the back. All right, if you need... It does.
Vindicated.
That's right. Take on it.
Paul Revere and the Raiders played that?
I don't know. So if you need some really cool pickups, BrandonWallPickups.com. We do vintage style pickups, and we even age them to make them look old. And we do custom pickups. We do the wide range pickups. We do all sorts of cool stuff. We rewind
sets even.
That's right. We rewind, repair old pickups in case you don't want to replace your pickup. And it's very inexpensive, very fast. Jared, J-A-R-E-D, at BrandonWallPickups.com. BrandonWallPickups.com.
There you go.
Find me on Instagram as well.
All right. And Tony, we got some people to thank.
We like to thank some very important people.
That's right.
And these people would be our executive producers. And I'm sure, you're driving down the road saying, how? Well, that's an executive producer. If you would go over to patreon.com/the Guitar Knobs, you would see how to become an executive producer, as well as various other levels. And there are some fantastic
Executive
prizes.
producer, you're going to get a t-shirt, you're going to get a barefoot button, you're going to get stickers, you're going to get picks, you're going to get pins.
And yeah, you do get that, but even
And-
on the lower levels,
Yes, but for the executive producer one. And you're going to get your, what, Jared?
you get
You
your
get to
name
have your-
rated on the thing.
No, you get your name right on the thing.
Great. Okay, Tony, what are the names? Let's get these people some recognition.
Recognizing the following executive producers. Again, Brad Partridge, Michael Van Zant, Doug Christ, Zach J. Wright, Gary Goodman, and Son Beckett. What's up, Beckett? Darren Gregory, Robert Marfleet, John Anglin, Chris Kearney, Sean S. Oliver Gonzalez, John Daly, Robin Smith, Pete Marshall, Carlos Mancha, Matt Brammer, David Wolfson, Martin Cliff, and Tom Barazin.
Guys, thank you so much for your support at every level, the 1, 5, and 10, and more levels. We are greatly appreciative of it. It helps us tremendously at whatever level you're able to support. And just knowing that you're out there, you're listening, and that you're willing to do that. It's really remarkable every time that we're reading these names off. So we thank you for listening wherever you're at. We thank you for commenting on the socials and for sending us notes. We love talking to you. So keep it coming. And guys, thank you out there in Bama.
Yeah.
Alabama.
That's you guys.
I was just about to say roll time, but no, I can't.
Please don't.
Yeah.
You remember 2014?
Okay.
Remember?
Oh, man.
Remember that?
So thank you guys out there in Alabama, Deep Space Devices, for being on the show. We were happy to talk to you guys and learn about how you started out and where you're going and continued success.
Hey, are you going to be, we talked a little bit about NAMM. Are you going to be displaying at the Winter NAMM show?
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir. We are.
We will see you there.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, man.
Hey, everybody. Have a great Guitar Week. We will check you out super soon. And, really quick, make sure that you take advantage of all the deals that everybody's been giving on past episodes. We've had a lot of really great specials, and make sure you take advantage of those, because those guys are they're making great gear. Everybody that we're having on, and there's some excellent things to be had out there. So check them out. Subscribe.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for these knobs. Please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/The Guitar Knobs. Visit our website at theguitarknobs.com for all of our past episodes, 4 on the Floor blog,
and other good stuff. You can connect with us on social too at our Facebook page and share your gear and stories on our Facebook group. Also, be sure to check out our Instagram at Guitar Knobs. Catch you next time.